we're going to have a look at the important elements of your wedding mass. So first of all, you have the unity candle ritual. At the start of the ceremony, your priest will invite you up behind the altar to light 2 individual candles that represent your individuality. Then you sit back down again, and eventually the priest will marry you. At that point, he'll invite you back behind the altar to light the center or the unity candle. Now here's a question. Do you blow out the individual candles or do you leave them lighting? Well, you can do either. You can leave them lighting or you can blow them out. It's completely up to yourselves. But at least have it discussed before you get back behind the altar. It could be a little bit embarrassing if one of you blows out your partner's candle by mistake. Another nice element that you can include at this point is to invite your parents to light the individual candles at the very start of the ceremony. So for example, on your mass booklet, it might say that David and Mary's parents will now light their individual candles as a symbol of the gift of life that they've given to their children. And of course, your parents will feel very appreciated at being involved at that section of the mass as well. The next major section, of course, is the liturgy of the word. That is the prayers of the faithful, the first reading, the second reading, and the gospel. So do include your family and friends here at this point, but please make sure you give them the mass booklet in advance. Don't just hand it to somebody on the very day of your wedding and expect them to do a reading. It's kind of terrifying. Next, you have 3 questions that the priest will ask you in order to marry you. Do you have any idea what those 3 questions are? The first question will be, have you come here of your own free will? Consent is very important. The second question will be, will you bring up any children God sends you according to the laws of the Catholic Church? And the last question will be, do you take this person to be your husband or wife? They're the very important 3 questions that help you to get married, because before he asks you these 3 questions, you're not married. After he does so, you are married. And finally, try and include other elements in your ceremony to make it more personal. For example, have you come across or heard of hand fasting? Hand fasting is an ancient Celtic tradition where couples years ago, when they wanted to get married or express their love for each other, they would meet in a field or under a tree, and their family and friends would gather around in a large circle. They would link hands like so, making the eternity or the infinity symbol, and somebody else would wrap twine or sacred cloth around their wrists. And this is how Celtic people got married hundreds of years ago. So when I got married, I included that element into my ceremony. The priest got his stole, which is a long scarf-like garment, and he laid that over my wrists, my wife's wrists, and he said, "What God has joined together, let no man tear asunder." And then he said the prayer of the newly married couple as we held hands. And it was a lovely way for us to include our Celtic heritage in our traditional mass.